Hello, here we are during prom season with scissors and scrubs. I'm Nicole.
I'm Laura.
Laura, will you go to the prom with me?
Sure.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm going to wear blue, and I'm going to need a white boutonniere.
You are not wearing blue.
No,
You would never wear blue.
I would never wear blue.
No.
No. I pulled out my prom picture from junior year in high school in black and white, short, sequin strapless, black sequin strapless with white. I got a picture if you want to see it, Laura.
Nice.
Yeah. And my hair. Wow.
I bet.
My hair was something.
Yeah,
My hair was
high.
something. Yeah, it was high.
Mm-hmm.
It was high.
I had many different. I actually wore a red dress one time.
I can see you in red. You
Oh
look good in
God, I
red.
hated it.
I think
I
it
don't know
looked good
why
in
I
red.
got red. I hate red. One was red, one was black, one was purple, and I wore the black one twice, and I wore the red one twice, I think. And I had a green short semi dress freshman year.
Oh, semi. I had houndstooth.
Oh.
So yes, here we are talking about prom season. Her son just went to two proms.
Two
My
proms.
daughter's going to be hitting a prom at the end of the month.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very excited because it's probably the only prom, and including her senior prom, that I'll ever get, because I don't think either of my boys. I know my oldest is never did go to the prom, and my youngest won't, and my husband never went to the
I
prom.
wonder if Garrett will.
I do too.
I have a feeling he
I
might.
do too. My jury's out on that one. I
Yeah.
said that the other day. Somebody said something. I'm like,
You know,
might.
he's part of like a club now.
yes. And it might be that, that awkward girl, they go as friends, and I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, so what?
You know, just go to the goddamn prom. So he may surprise me. So we figured we'd wrap a little episode around prom season, since we're very wrapped up in, for mine, back facials, spray tans, hair, nails, petty, shoes, makeup. I could go on and on. And she thinks I'm going to pay for every fucking thing.
We bought the tux because it was cheaper than renting the tux.
Which is ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Our day was $60 rental.
Yeah. And, when we had to get the flowers. And one prom, I did get him to go get his like neck shaved up. That's about as much effort as a boy puts into the prom.
Yeah, I've got the dress, the shoes, which somebody actually donated money for the shoes, and she fucking spent it. So we go to get to the shoes after I told her, don't spend it, because that's what you... Oh, I don't have it. Well, I pulled an Emily, and there's a note on the fridge. You owe me $80 for the fucking shoes.
Yeah, that's as
And
much effort.
like the dress, the shoes, the alterations. We're on our second back facial. Spray tan tomorrow, because that's the trial. Spray tan before the thing. She's going to do her own makeup, which I think is best because she does a really good job, and I don't want her to look ridiculous.
Yeah.
Her girlfriend's sister's going to do the hair. Hallelujah. But my daughter's so fucking particular.
I was going to say, I don't know.
I said to her, please tell me you're going to do a trial. Make sure she does what you want.
Right.
But then she has to get it cut, colored. Like, this is she's doing more prep for her prom than I did for my wedding.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a process.
That's what I was saying to Sam. He went to his girlfriend's prom first. And I said something like, can you go get your haircut? I don't need a haircut. I'm like, not your haircut, but like go get the edges cleaned up. Just get it cleaned up. I don't need a haircut. I'm like, it's not a haircut. It's just getting it cleaned up.
Trim up.
I don't need to do that. I'm like, she is getting makeup, hair, spray tan, nails.
You got the frame for the picture, and you better look fucking great.
I'm like, she's doing all this. You can't get your goddamn hair cleaned up?
Yeah.
I don't need to do that. Literally got in the shower at like 3:30, was dressed by 3:45. I'm like, okay.
She's already asking, can I take the day off of school? Because pictures are at 2, and I need to
Pictures are at 2?
Pictures at the school are at 2. Yep. Well, because apparently we do pictures at the school, promenade, tomatoes, pictures at the country club, and then they go to the prom at 5:30. I don't know. I can't get a clear fucking picture of what this day is going to look like.
That would mean like the whole school had to get out early that day if pictures are at 2.
I would think so.
That doesn't make any sense.
I don't know if they're going to give the junior proms the day, the juniors the day, or what. I don't know, because the seniors prom is the day before graduation, so it's a moot point for them.
Yeah, theirs is the week. Our senior prom is like the week of like one of the days in the week of graduation, and they do the promenade, but only for like juniors don't have a promenade.
Oh,
just
they get a
seniors
promenade.
have
They're
a
gonna
and
get a
they
full-
announce them. They announce their date.
Yeah,
it's cute.
This is going to be something.
Yeah.
And now I have to figure out what I'm going to wear.
Oh yeah,
Laura.
I know because you have
because
to
the
get pictures.
date's family's going to be there now.
Right.
You know, this is just going to be quite. And then I gotta get the crones up there. The old lady's got to come.
2 that seems ridiculous.
That's what she said. Doesn't mean it's in stone.
I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just that seems.
It's excessive. The thing starts at 5:30, I think.
Oh, the proms was at 6. Both of them were at 6:30.
I think it's at 5:30 and in Salem. Originally, it was at like a restaurant. I'm like, what?
Where are you going to
a prom at the restaurant? Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That's what it's all about.
But that's the only thing you do. No one eats.
And then she's got this, I mean, the dress is gorgeous, but she wants a little longer. I'm like, okay, how are you going to dance on that? You're going to have to hike that shit up. I said, because what happened to my girlfriend who had a little bit of train on a wedding dress, it had holes all over it by the end of the night. You don't want holes in the end of the, you know. This is going to be quite the event. I have a feeling tears will happen.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah.
All right. Anyway.
I hated my hair every single time I went to the prom. I hated
I did my
own. Well, my senior prom, I just did my own, and it looked awful as well. But at least I didn't pay for it. But I literally hated my hair in tears every single prom I went to.
I believe it. That's going to be Vienna. I know she's going to be crying
awful.
either over her hair or her makeup, or...
I wasn't allowed to wear makeup.
To the proms?
Nope.
You couldn't even wear them to
I
proms?
could wear colored chapstick.
Laura, I heard the shit you pulled in high school, and she wouldn't let you wear makeup.
No makeup. No.
Your
I think
got a little...
maybe I could wear mascara to like a senior prom. I'm not kidding you. No makeup. No face makeup. No nothing.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I looked ridiculous.
You didn't look ridiculous. I'm sure you looked beautiful.
Because everybody else had makeup on, and there's a girl with no makeup.
I'd have been in the limo like...
I didn't own it. I didn't have it.
Your girlfriends didn't?
I don't know if they had it.
I would have been all over that shit. Well, okay. So now we're kicking up prom season. Mm-hmm. All right. And Laura's going to start it off, and then we're going to ease into some dark areas, and then we're going to end it on a light note again.
Okay. I got this information in an article by Brittany Schrick from March 1st, 2019, nhs.uk, and eatingdisorderhope.com.
You can see where this is going, huh? Yeah, right. You can.
Prom season is here.
I've waited friggin' 17 years for this shit. I gave birth. I was like, I'm having a prom.
I'm so excited. It's a very exciting time. There's promposals. Of course, my son does a promposal because my son is...
And my daughter's like, you promposal to me and we're done. She'd be horrified. She would be horrified.
But there's no way Jack would ever.
No.
Never do that. Sam immediately was like, oh, I got to do this and that and this. And I'm
because
like,
Jack is you and Sam is me.
I know. Promposals, the dresses, they have to sign up. Oh, you're going to this prom. No one else can buy it. The tuxes, they don't really do this anymore, but Sam actually did go on a party bus for one, but like used to rent limos. Like it was a whole thing. And I know other places still rent limos, but for many teens and families, it can be a very stressful season. Financial and social stress, the maturity and expectations can change the way people approach the prom experience. Like your kid might be super mature and you don't have to worry about it. Your kid might never have left the house and now is going out to this like
huge party.
Yeah. And here are some tips to make the prom experience a good one.
Oh, please tell me because it's coming. It's happening.
It's happening. Talk to your teen. Ask for their plans. Don't be afraid to ask them for their plans.
Okay, and when you do ask and you get, what do you do then?
I just haunt them.
Yeah, I'm doing that and I keep going,
Well, then you won't be going anywhere. That's what I like.
That's true, yeah.
Are they planning on going to the prom? Like, talk to them before prom starts. Like, hey, have you thinking about it? You know, like in the winter or something. Like, oh, have you thought about it? Your friends going? You guys going as a group? Are you going? You know, like, start talking to them. Are you going with a date? Are you just going with the guys? Are you going with the girls? Either way is fine. It doesn't matter. Go and have fun.
You want, just go and have fun.
Are you asking someone? Are you waiting to be asked? Like, girls now will just ask, which is wild. Sure. How are you getting there? Are you driving? Is someone driving you? Are you renting a limo? Do you need money for that? Is someone renting a bus? Do you have to pay them? Ask these questions before it gets to like the last second. What are your plans for after the prom? That's probably the biggest question to ask.
That's what I've been asking. Repeat. I don't know yet. We don't know yet. I'm like, you better let me know yet or I'm going to be at that party.
Yeah.
Okay. And you don't want that.
Yeah. What are the plans?
And I'm wearing my old prom dress.
Ooh.
Boom. Not that I'll ever fit in it, but.
What is the wardrobe situation? Are we doing long dresses? Are we doing tuxes? Are they just wearing suits? Some kids don't. Some kids wear short dresses. Like some schools are different. Like you got to find this all out. Open discussions will help manage expectations, which help reduce stress. Some kids might think, oh yeah, we're just going to get a limo and I'm going to go just me and my boyfriend and blah, blah, blah. And the parents might be like, yeah, no, I'm not spending $8,000 on
for you and your boyfriend in a limo.
Right. And then it's, then it's like you're fighting the week before and it's just a terrible situation for everybody. Also talk about the pressures surrounding the prom. Drinking, drugs, sex, other risky behaviors. Let them know your stance and expectations without judgment. Just put it up front.
Yeah. No drugs.
You're not coming home drunk.
No sex.
Don't smoke weed. Help them come up with ways to get out of like pressure situations. text home, take a drink, but don't really drink it. I used to always say that to my kids. Like, if you're somewhere and, kids at pair, like, take a can.
That's what I tell them all the time.
And
Walk
hold
around
one
with it.
can.
Walk around with it.
Yeah.
They don't know
take
how
a
many
drink.
that is.
Don't take an open cup, but take a can or something. Text something like, a code that knows, okay, I got to go pick them up.
Right.
They don't have to say, come pick me up so no one can see it, but there's a certain way, something they can text you like, oh, hey, it's freezing out. And that means come get me. Set a budget before you start any of this stuff, buying dresses, getting makeup, getting spray tans. Set a budget. That greatly limits the stress later on down the line when everything's due. Discussions early on just relieve it just gets everybody on the same page. If kids need to pay for anything or part of it, they should know in advance so they can save. Some parents are going to spring that on you in February. I'm not buying a dress.
Oh, like my daughter with the shoes that somebody gave her the money and she still spent it?
But
dumbass.
But she knew ahead of time she was supposed to pay for certain things. Like, if they don't know that, you can't tell them a month before. It takes them a long time to save up that money. And if you are paying, you need to let the kids know a budget and stick to it. Don't go insane. No one should be going into debt to send your kid to prom. It adds up really fast. Dresses are $500, $600, $700.
Yeah.
The tux was $300. Yeah. The flowers, each prom I paid, I think it was like $70 for flowers. The tickets to the prom are like $80 to $100 each. Food before and after. Again, if they get in limos or whatever, the pictures. Some of the proms, like, you take pictures there and you have to pay for it. It adds up. It's a ton of money. Having a budget before it begins will reduce the tension in your house and everybody's stress.
I've also been told that I have to have the backyard in order for pictures from the princess.
Oh.
Make sure the backyard looks nice.
When are they taking those pictures?
I don't know.
Like, if they're going to be at the school at 2.
I don't know.
And then the promenade, and then the place. When does she think they're going to be at your house taking pictures?
We're going to have to clarify, obviously. Tip number 2.
Do you know, like, you're going to be going, boop, 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 boop,
yeah,
boop.
No.
Wow.
It'll be at my house first, but I have no idea what time that is.
That would be at like 1.
Mm-hmm. There's no way. It's got to
People
be
work.
It has to be later than that because
parents work. That
she
would
still has to get ready. Like, it has to be later than that.
Even if she doesn't.
Yeah.
Do you think no parents are going to be able to go there?
Right.
Unless you're a stay-at-home mom. But like, other than that,
in my town, there are a lot of stay-at-home moms.
All right, but that's wrong. Like, that's
Brian took
to
the
do.
day off. I said, you're going to have to take the day off if you want to see her because there's no way she'll be at the prom by the time he gets home from work.
I can see like 4-ish.
I think,
2?
That's what she said. Doesn't mean it's right.
Almighty. They have to knock that off. Someone call Swampscott High School. Tell them that's ridiculous.
Losers.
Watch for signs and symptoms of stress in your teens regarding the prom. If teens seem more worried than excited, talk to them. If they're just panicking about it and they're not like happy to do it,
that's not how it should
there's
be.
something going on other than, just worried that your hair's going to look nice. Be prepared to say no. If they are asking to spend too much or something that could cause more stress or problems, say no. Managing expectations and problems beforehand will lead to a much easier day and they will have a better time if they are not stressed out. Girls especially are prone to stress regarding their appearance. Like I said, Sam got in the shower and got out and he was ready.
She spent all day.
Watch for changes in diet or exercise. Prom season is hyper-focused on appearance. Literally, that's all that matters is what you look like. And that can seriously harm kids who already have a poor body image. And watch for signs and symptoms of bulimia, anorexia, and body dysmorphic disorder. I will get more into that after we talk about your topic.
I'm going to go nuclear
Yeah.
because I always worry about the drinking at the prom. And why I worry so much about drinking at prom is alcohol poisoning, which we've discussed in a previous episode, and I'm worried about date rape drugs. So this is where we're going with this. Yes. Okay, we've gone from prom, look pretty, to your daughter's going to get date rape. So we just figured it'd be a good thing to talk about, like, cover your drinks kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, like I said, it's something I talk to my daughter about constantly. She's not a big girl. She's tiny. It wouldn't take much, and nothing's going to ruin their life quicker than having something horrible like this happen to them. So let's try to educate boys too. It's not just a girl issue. Let's try to educate them on what to happen. So what do date rape drugs do? When ingested, they make it easier for someone to rape or perform any sexual activity without the consent of the other party. They are usually seen at dance clubs or raves and became known as club drugs. It does not mean you are on a date. It does. It's just, could be anybody you know, could be somebody you met that night. It means it's not a total stranger that raped you. They're put into your drink without you knowing it. And one of the things I think of all the time watching one of those TikTok videos, the girl's taking a picture. She's got the cup in her hand, but it's like at her shoulder and she's leaning in. And you can see somebody walk by and pop something in a drink. She has no clue. And it happened that fucking fast. And I showed my daughter, I'm like, that's how fast this is going to happen. Yeah. So the victim can become confused, have trouble defending against unwanted sexual advances, and they don't usually remember the incident at all. In the U.S., almost 11 million women have been raped while drunk or drugged. Most common types of date rape drugs are GHB, gamma hydroxybutyric acid, also known as grievous body harm, liquid G, liquid ecstasy, Somatomax, cherry meth, Easy Lay, and gamma 10.
Easy Lay.
And gamma 10. It comes in a liquid with no odor or color, or a white powder or a pill. The effects of GHB are drowsiness, dizziness, slow heart rate, nausea, loss of consciousness, inability to remember what happened while drugged, seizures, coma, and death. Okay. Then there's ketamine, which is also known as
Special K.
Special K, Ketin K, Vitamin K, Kit Kat, Cat Valium, Purple, and Super C.
Ooh, Super C.
Ketamine is a white powder. The effects of ketamine are hallucinations, lost sense of time and identity, agitation, aggressive or violent behavior, convulsions, loss of consciousness, loss of coordination, and potentially fatal respiratory failure. Ketamine is used in the operating room as an anesthetic drug. And the fucking morons using this to drug women do not know how much, or do they care how much they are dropping in that little tiny girl's drink. So it can very easily kill somebody. And everybody's favorite, Rufinol.
Ooh,
also known as Roofies, R2, Rufinol, God bless, Roach, Roachies, La Roca, Rope, Rib, Circles, Mexican Valium, Roach 2, the Forget Bill, Trip and Fall, and Mind Erasers.
Trip and Fall.
I
like that.
I like all of these names. These are something. The effects of being roofied: low BP, sleeplessness, sleepy. You're sleepy.
Sleepiness.
And I'm not drinking tonight, okay? I'm still in a food coma. Muscle relaxation or loss of muscle control, visual disturbances, loss of consciousness, problems talking, inability to remember what happened while drugged, and nausea. And most of these are usually ingested with alcohol because alcohol will boost the effects of these drugs. So they have all different types of side effects, but the most commonly reported among all are sudden nausea and vomiting. Now, I had gone out to dinner with a bunch of people, and we went out for drinks, and I had one drink. Immediately was violent. One drink, violently ill. Had convinced myself I had been roofied. I think what it was actually happening, I was getting a GI bug.
Yes.
And if you've ever had a drink when you're at the beginning stages of a GI bug, it hits you like you've been roofied. So I went home and I told my husband, I've been roofied. Something's wrong with me. But then I proceeded to vomit for 2 days. And I was like, that was a GI bug. I vomited on the hospital lawn. I was very proud of myself.
Oh, yeah.
So, okay. Date rape drugs can be screened up to 72 hours after the incident, but they're best when tested within 24 hours. They digest quickly and become harder to detect. What to do if you suspect if you've been drugged or assaulted. If you wake up in an unfamiliar place or house, go to the ER and call 911. Do not shower. Do not change your clothes. Do not brush your teeth until you have seen medical evidence, because if you think of this, you're going to have a rape kit done at the hospital, and they can get DNA from all of that stuff, because you're going to need hardcore evidence on this to prove that somebody's done this to you. If you still have remnants of the drink, save it for evidence. Do not urinate till you're at the hospital to give a sample, and a rape kit is going to be done at the hospital. So, what do you tell your little girls all dressed up for the prom? How to protect themselves. What do you tell your little girls going to their first college party? How to protect yourself. What do you tell your adult daughters just going out for a night with their girlfriends? How to protect themselves. Well, number one, never, ever, under any circumstances, do you leave your drink unattended. Ever, ever, ever. Do not accept a drink that has been poured that you did not see from a stranger. As I've said this multiple times, especially at the frat parties, never drink from the fucking punch bowl. There's more shit in that punch bowl that you do not want to touch.
I used to go to these parties and they had Alabama Slammers.
Oh, yeah.
I have no idea what was in those.
Yeah, no. We don't do that, Laura. Don't drink from the punch bowl.
No, don't do that.
Because anything can be in that punch bowl. Do not drink anything you did not open yourself. So I tell my daughter, you're going to unfamiliar places, everything. You get beer, you crack the bottle yourself, you hold on to it. If for any reason you've walked away from that, you get another one.
Yeah, it's gone.
Right.
Done.
If you're going to mix a drink, you watch them mix it. And then if you put it down for any reason, you leave it. It's done. All right. Keep your drink in your possession. Don't accept drinks from strangers or people you have just met. Which back in my day, people would send you drinks from the bar. Oh, yeah. Tickling my ear. And you were like, yeah, this is great. Free drink.
Usually, though, I feel like, I mean, this is probably stupid, but if you're at a bar and the bartender said, these are from the person down the end.
Yes.
That's different than someone walking up to you and be like, I bought you this
I agree.
drink.
I wouldn't ever go from some guy who's like, here, I bought you a drink. I would never do that.
Right.
This is my cardinal rule for almost anything my daughter's doing, even my sons. You never leave your wingman. No. If you go with your girlfriends, you leave with your girlfriends. Unless you have spoken ahead of time, and even then, I'm not a fan of this. I don't think you should just go home with random people. That's a thing for me. And I tell her, like, if that's not your behavior, you tell your girlfriends that. I used to tell my friends, I'm never going to go home with some random dude. All right. So if I come up to you and say, I just met Joe and I'm going home with him, you know something's different and wrong. That's not my usual behavior. Don't go out alone or with someone you don't know well. Go out in a group with people who you trust. You go together, you leave together, and you watch each other's drinks. Watch out for your friends. You don't want to go out with girlfriends who are out for themselves. You want to go out with girlfriends who you guys are watching out for each other. Because no matter how far the societies come, women are prey. They always will be. And you really need to watch out for each other.
But even guys, like they said, the kid that died in Nashville or wherever.
We were his friends. That's what I said. We were his friends.
He actually got kicked out with one of his friends.
Where did the other
friend
kid
went
go?
back in. And left him out there. Yep. And they think he might have been roofied because of how
bad
quickly it came on. It doesn't matter if it's a girl or guy. Guys can be roofied too just to screw with them.
Absolutely.
So.
And I said to watching it with my husband, I can't imagine his mother watching that video and knowing what's going to happen and you can't help him and looking at how out of control that poor kid was. Yeah. He was gonzo.
Right.
If your friends look like they've had too much or something isn't right, help them home or to seek medical attention. Never leave them with anybody you don't know or trust. Don't ever be like, oh, he looks cute. Yeah, I think he can drive. No, never do that. Stay in control. This is another thing I tell my kid. Always leave somebody home upstairs. Yeah. You don't get so drunk or out of control. You don't know what you're doing or what your behavior is because anything could happen. Emergencies happen, whatever. Right. Stay in control of what you're doing. I'm going to give you a couple of stories, but if you need help or you want more information, the National Institute on Drug Abuse, which is 888-NIH-NIDA, National Women's Health Info Center, which is 800-994-9662, or the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network, 800-656-HOPE. You can get more information on the drugs, signs, symptoms, what to do, and how to process it. All right, so I'm going to give you a couple of stories real quick of girls that I think these are mostly women. Like, it does happen to boys, like we said, but it's easier to just read it from their words of what happened to them. I remember waking up with sweat on my forehead and the strange comfort of my cheek pressed against the cold tile of the bathroom floor. That is the best fucking feeling. That is a good feeling. What is your name? Where are you? What year is it? A strange woman's voice pierced through the air. I am not the first or the last person to be drugged by an anonymous monster while out with friends. I am not the first or the last person to wake up with no recollection of what happened, but surrounded by angels who found me before somebody else did. I am one of the many, but not the first, nor will I be the last. I am someone with a story, one that all too often goes unheard. When I gained consciousness in the hospital, confusion flooded my brain. I was out at a show with a group of my closest friends at a local club and music venue. I arrived around 10 and drank 3 beers over the course of 3 hours, which is not ridiculous. No. Sometimes later, I was found on the bathroom floor. If you are not an experienced drinker like myself, 3 beers in 3 hours does not add up to passing out in the bathroom at a club. You don't even have to be an experienced. You're
3 beers in 3 hours
it's
is not
You're processing that. I remember seeing a dear friend, Teddy, and joining him at the bar for my 3rd beer. We talked for a while about music, friends, and our shared sense of dry humor. Then I left to join my group of friends back in the crowd. That's when things got very blurry. In fact, I don't know what I did or what happened after weaving through the sweaty strangers. it is assumed Teddy is the guy who drugged her at the bar. Avery was out with her roommate at Tavern on Broad when it happened to her. She found herself in a conversation with a group of 3 men along with their female friends. After making meaningless small talk, one man roared to the crowd, "Who wants a shot?" Another big thing. It's an announcement every college student has heard at a bar and naively called out like the inevitable fate of their bank account. "Do you want one?" He asked Avery. She agreed. He hovered around the 6 or 7 shots of tequila, picking up a few at a time and passing them around. Shortly after, Avery recalled her body feeling strange and her mind feeling fuzzy. It's not her normal reaction to a shot of tequila with only 1 beer in her system. She knew she needed to leave and her roommate was nowhere to be found. Stumbling out of the bar, she got to the Broad Street line, the same line she took every day to work and the same subway system she took her whole life growing up in Philly. That night, she missed her stop home. She got off, got back on, and somehow ended up back wandering along the sidewalk somewhere on Broad Street, followed by a man on a bike. Thankfully, she had contacted her boyfriend at that time, and he took her home. And she woke up after 14 hours of sleep, something she never did, and tried to piece things together. This was her first run-in with a date rape drug, and it became clear that the man at the bar hovered over those shots and offered her a specific one. The way she felt that night was something she had never felt before, but what can even be done from here? I asked Avery, looking back, "Do you wish you had done something about what happened?" And she said, "I guess I should have, but it's easier to just dismiss it and move on." She explained how she was afraid nothing would come of it and would be challenged because she was drinking, and how she was lucky nothing worse happened. The Society of OBGYNs of Canada confirms about 25% of women that report that drugs were a factor in rape. But this number is presumably much higher. Most of these crimes go unrecognized, unreported, and unresolved or unproven. Avery made the choice, like many others, to keep the experience to herself due to fear, denial, or lack of support from our society. I do think many of this goes unreported because these girls feel ashamed or embarrassed or whatever.
Well, and like you said, she wasn't actually attacked.
Right.
I mean, she was drugged, which is bad.
Right.
That's a crime in and of itself. But like when nothing happens because of it, it's like, well, what am I going to do?
Right.
Go say, oh, someone put something in my drink, but not again, she was drugged and anything could have happened. But I think you hear that all the time. We were talking at work and someone was joking like, oh, I was so sick. I think I was drugged. And they were like, well, could you move? Because I for sure was drugged one time and I could not move my legs. And nothing happened to them, but
thank God.
Yeah. And then another girl's like, yeah, I could not stand up. I couldn't stand up. I fell to the floor in the bathroom and couldn't stand up to unlock the door for my friend. Like, she's like, I couldn't. And she's like, and it wasn't drunk. Like, it wasn't because I was drunk.
Two
I
people
couldn't move.
In one area that have already talked about it.
And nothing happened to them, but that is something happening to you.
But that's how rampant it is.
Right.
Like, you have to be on high alert. On the evening of the 25th, I went out with a group of friends to celebrate my birthday, Barton said in a statement. While having drinks, I realized that something was not right as my behavior was becoming erratic and continued to intensify over the next several hours. I voluntarily went to get professional help, and I was informed by their staff that I had been given GHB. After an overnight stay, I am home and doing well. The statement continued, I would like to extend a big thanks of gratitude to the professionals at Cedars-Sinai for the great care and professional. I think this is Avery's story still. This is a lesson to all the young women out there. Be aware of your surroundings. Oh, you know who this is? Misha Barton. Oh. She's the actress.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I should have clarified that. This is her story about, she claimed she was date rape drugged and they videotaped her. And it was on the news like, oh, she's out of control. This and that. She's like,
I think I remember that. Yeah. Like, she looked like she was just crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's like, no, I was given GHB that night. She was transported to Cedars-Sinai in L.A. for psych evaluation on Thursday morning. She was exhibiting erratic behavior at her West Hollywood apartment after celebrating her birthday the night before. Authorities responded to multiple calls about a disturbance at her home, according to People, and they found her fully clothed and speaking in coherent statements before taking to the hospital, where she was diagnosed with having been slipped GHB. Now, this story happened a couple of years ago in Boston. It still fucking disturbs me. I don't even want to imagine what happened to this woman, because this did not end as well as the other ones. And this was at the same time another woman had been kidnapped from a bar, and her fate was a lot worse. Yeah. A woman, this is in Boston, a woman kidnapped after a night out in Boston was held for 3 days, forced to drink whiskey, and repeatedly raped in a Charlestown apartment, according to Suffolk Superior Court documents. The statements unveiled in court Wednesday outlined the 3 miserable days a 23-year-old Boston woman spent locked in a small apartment on Walford Way. It began when police say Victor Penna, the suspect's kidnapper, who has been charged, found the woman outside a Boston bar she had been asked to leave. So she's already highly intoxicated. Police say surveillance shows him hugging and kissing her before leading her onto the Orange Line to his Charlestown apartment. Much of the footage purportedly shows Penna carrying the woman or visibly supporting her. As police said, she was heavily intoxicated and doesn't recall any of the time after leaving the bar Saturday night until Sunday morning. She remembers waking up in the apartment on a bare mattress in his apartment. When she tried to get dressed and leave, he physically stopped her, told her to be quiet, and threatened several times to kill her. He said he rescued her on the street, he loved her, and they were going to start a family.
Oh.
Holy shit. Police said she recalls being sexually assaulted several times over the next 2 days as Penna fed her only canned pineapple and whiskey. I'd be vomiting on you. We're not having sex. I'm vomiting. According to the police, he used his cell phone to take photos of himself with the victim, who appears lethargic and listless. When she tried to escape, she found the door deadbolted with a new lock. Out of fear of what might happen if she fought back, she submitted to his assaults and offered to help him clean his apartment to placate him. Her friends tracked her through Find My iPhone, but were unable to find her near where her phone was pinged Sunday afternoon in Charlestown. The friends went to the police, filed a missing persons report after the location stopped showing up. The police were able to match the Charlie card issued to Walford Way in Penna's name. And on Tuesday afternoon, they showed up at the apartment and they got no response. They couldn't get into the apartment in the housing police master key, so they had to drill through the unauthorized deadbolt. While that was happening, Penna gave the victim her phone and told her to text someone and tell them she was okay. According to police, physical evidence corroborates the victim's accounts of what happened. He is held without bail following a court appeal Wednesday, pending another appearance in April. That story fucking horrified me, because that could have been anybody's daughter. It was disgusting what he did. So safety tips real quick. I know I'm really doing this. Nope, that's something else completely. Safety tips we talked about. Don't leave your wingman. Watch your drinks. Don't let anybody just offer you some random drink. Just be careful, please.
And it doesn't have to be a stranger.
It could be
that girl was like, it was a kid I knew. We were talking about stuff we knew. And
you never know what kind of psycho you're talking to.
Yeah.
All
now
right.
They have like covers for your drinks.
Yes.
Have you seen those? Like they sell these things like go over your glasses. So if you are up, you can put something over your cup.
There's got to be a way to get a straw
that changes color.
That changes color.
Yeah.
The moment something's in it, changes color. Yeah. Somebody's going to come up with that soon, and that would be a game changer. Okay. And, I did look real quick because I had heard if you drink cranberry juice, it counteracts it and stuff. There was no supporting evidence that if you drink cranberry juice with your drinks, it's going to counteract any of these date rape drugs. I did look. Okay, go ahead.
Well, I mean, hopefully at prom, that's not how. I think usually it's more like over drinking.
Yes.
At prom, which I do like Sam's prom. I don't know about his girlfriend's because he doesn't go to that school, but like before the prom, we got like multiple emails. The kids got multiple emails about safety tips, about how to talk to your kids, about what to watch for your kids going to prom.
Because every year you hear some tragic fucking story on prom night.
They also breathalyze them going in and leaving. Out. So like you can't put nips in your jacket and go in and drink in the prom and then leave and drive home. Like they breathalyze you in and out, which...
How sad this is where we've come to.
But you know what?
We're the reason they did.
Right, because we were doing the wrong thing.
I was obliterated after my junior prom.
Oh, God. Not me, Mom.
Yeah, right.
So I was talking about the stress and like, watch the kids. Are they eating? Are they throwing up? Does their breath smell like acid all the time? You got to check them. And then watch for signs of body dysmorphic disorder. I'm talking about this because my mother insists I have body dysmorphic disorder.
She's not far off, Laura.
It's not. I don't.
Laura wants to look like she has cancer.
I didn't say I want to look like I have cancer. Right. I said if someone looked at me and thought, is she sick? That would be the goal weight.
Okay, that's a problem.
Okay. Anyways, body dysmorphic disorder is a mental health condition in which a person spends a lot of time worrying about perceived flaws in their appearance. These perceived flaws are only seen by that person. People of any age can have BDD, but it is most common in teens and young adults. It affects men and women equally. It does not mean the person is vain. It is a very upsetting disorder and has a big impact on these people's lives. You may have BDD if you worry a lot about a specific area of your body. It's actually particularly your face.
Yeah, my nose. I have a bump on my nose.
Oh
I have this thing.
I definitely, when I was little, I don't have a huge nose. And when I was little, I didn't have a huge nose. I thought I had the biggest nose on the face of the earth. I would do this, cover my face all the time because I thought my nose was so big.
Laura.
I have a bump on my sister fell on my face and broke my nose when we were little. And I have a bump on my nose. But it's not like disfiguring. I thought.
Never noticed.
I literally had the biggest nose on the face of the earth until I was in my late teens.
I've never once looked at you and thought, wow, she's
I
don't even notice your nose.
I have a big nose at all, but I literally would cover it. I was always like, my nose looks so big. My nose looks so big. Like I was obsessed with the way my nose looked. Okay. I'm not anymore. Don't worry. If you spend a lot of time comparing your looks with others, if you look at yourself in the mirror a lot or avoid them altogether. So if you can't help but look at yourself or if you never look in the mirror. If you go to a lot of effort to conceal perceived flaws, like choosing certain clothes, wearing makeup a lot, like doing it a specific way to, now they all do the contouring and shit. You can make your face look completely different.
I'm going to tell you, with TikTok and Instagram, all this stuff, it's 1,000 times worse for these kids with body dysmorphia. 1,000 times worse.
Yeah. If you're doing your hair for hours a day to cover something up or to hide something, if you pick at your skin to make it smooth, like if you're like constantly touching your face or your skin or anything, BDD can have serious effects on your life, including work, social, and relationships. BDD can lead to depression, self-harm, and suicidal thoughts. Symptoms can get better with treatment. Talk therapy, called cognitive behavioral therapy, helps with mild symptoms. Moderate symptoms may need cognitive behavioral therapy or an SSRI, which is a antidepressant. And severe symptoms need both. You have to do therapy and medication. Cognitive behavioral therapy for BDD usually consists of exposure and response prevention. It makes you they make you gradually face situations that would normally make you think obsessively about your appearance and feel anxious. So they make you do it a little at a time. Look in the mirror, look at your nose, and keep doing it. Cognitive behavioral therapy for young people usually involves their family as well. You have to get the family involved in it. Like, don't say your nose is fine. There's nothing wrong with your nose. Stop touching it. Stop putting that.
Look at your nose.
Right. They have to also be involved with it.
I mean, some parents can be really tough on their kids with their looks too.
Yes.
Though, you know what I mean? So it can go both ways where you're like, you're fine, or like, no, you have something to worry about.
Yeah. It helps you, the cognitive behavioral therapy helps you learn your triggers and teaches you different ways of thinking about it and dealing with your habits. It just kind of retrains your brain. It is not known what causes BDD, but it may be associated with 1, genetics. You're more likely to develop it if you have a relative with BDD, OCD, or depression. 2, if you have a chemical imbalance in your brain. Or 3, a traumatic experience like being teased or bullied when you were little or whenever, like about a specific, like, what happened to your nose? And then you can't stop thinking about your nose. I'm really obsessed with my nose, apparently. There are support groups you can join. Make sure you're getting exercise, not for your looks, just for your mental health. You get enough sleep, or try doing something that improves your mental well-being. Like, I don't know, people knit, people like just do something to take your mind off of it that makes yourself feel better. But it is a actual real problem. It's a
100%.
mental health disorder. And you can, if you're watching your kid and they're constantly touching their face or touching one area or not looking at the mirror, or literally can't get out of it. They're not being vain. I mean, some people are, but they're not being vain. It's an actual mental health disorder that they need.
Being in the Botox business, you see it a lot. People come in and they'll be like, see this right here? See, I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. See this? I'm like, I can't fix that. And then like they'll come in and do something. Well, what about this? I should do that. And what about? And it escalates a lot. I just said it to somebody the other day. One of my classic things is they're like, "What do you think I need?" I never answer that question because I'm going to see something. Now you're going to obsess on that. Right. So what do you want me to? What bothers you in the mirror? You know. Yeah. But you see it a lot, which is part of the reason I don't do it like I used to, because these people will emotionally drain you with their neediness of like constantly having to reassure them that I can't do it. Yeah. So it is a very big deal. Yeah. And then I had some fun facts about the prom. Laura, a little fun facts about the prom. The prom was not originally made for high school. It was given its name in 1928, and it goes back to the mid-1800s when Ivy League college students began attending social events put on by their universities to, of course, I have a staple right through what it means. It was like to promenade their social etiquette and manners in each graduating class. Because prom is short for promenade. All right, you're out there showing your shit off. Prom kings and queens were a tradition that began in the 1950s.
Oh.
After World War II, with the American economy booming, teenagers wholeheartedly embraced the idea of prom. Venue changed from school gyms to country clubs and hotel ballrooms, and competition over who could be best dressed increased. From this emerged the prom queen and king popularity contest, a tradition that still exists today.
They don't do that.
My best friend was prom queen.
No.
Corsages were not always pinned to a dress. Now they're never pinned to the dress.
Why would you pin that to your dress?
One of the most notable prom traditions is the pinning of the corsage. The word corsage is French for bodice. Never knew that. And early corsages were pinned to a girl's hip. Boom.
Oh, I do remember seeing pictures of the one.
As dress styles have changed, it has gone from being at the waist to being wrapped around the wrist. Laura, what's the first movie to depict a prom? Mike?
Seriously asking me about this?
Carrie.
God, no, but that was the best fucking prom depiction ever. It's a Wonderful Life in 1946. It produced at the end of World War II. It shows George Bailey attending prom where he meets his future wife, Suzu's Pedals. The gymnasium is packed, and the kids are dressing and dancing the Charleston.
Oh, the Charleston.
An old favorite, the Charleston. Not all students have been allowed to attend the prom. They have a long history of excluding students in minority groups.
Lovely.
Prior to the Supreme Court's ruling of Brown versus the Board of Education, blacks were not allowed to go to prom. They had to have their own. So in some cities, there were 2 proms. And I think that might be the end of my fast facts. In 1975, President Ford held a prom at the White House for his daughter.
Oh,
that'd
fun.
be a fucking prom to go to.
That's fun. Yeah.
Oh my God! Imagine me and her. Oh, go to the White House for my prom. Can I take a limo? So, prom season. Try to enjoy it the best you can. They're great memories. You're going to someday be at work and you're going to be posting these ridiculous prom photos somewhere. Though these girls look 1,000 times better than I ever did at my prom.
Oh yeah.
And they'll be timeless.
Well, they have spray tans. If we had anything, it was the fake orange shit, and everybody was orange.
You baked in the tanning beds and got melanoma.
Yeah,
my hair was ginormous.
Oh my God. So
and
they know how to do makeup. Like these girls know how to do makeup now.
They had TikTok. We didn't have TikTok. No. We had blue eyeshadow.
Right.
Okay.
Not bad.
So, kids, if you're listening, have a wonderful time at the prom. Play it safe, please. Parents, if you're listening, tell your kids how to play it safe.
Also, this is not the biggest night of your life.
No.
It is a fun night. It is not the biggest night of your life.
High school is not the biggest time of your life.
No. If it is, that's sad.
If you've peaked in high school, you get bigger problems.
Right.
All right.
Don't worry about it.
You've got decades.
Have a good time. Don't stress about it. You will literally have much better nights hanging out with your friends in your house than you will at your prom.
Yes. I'm in my 50s and my life is still getting better.
Yeah.
So have a great time and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Like, subscribe, rate, and review the Scissors and Scrubs podcast on whatever podcast app you listen to us on. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Scissors and Scrubs. And email us any of your stories or thoughts to scissorsandscrubs@gmail.com.